Previously on Gears.
All right, let's turn our attention to the world of Formula One. As always, brought to us compliments of Pirelli and Tiger Wheel and Tire. Grand Prix of the season. It was the Brazilian Grand Prix. So much anticipation in terms of the rain. It never came. It looked as though it was raining every other place in the whole of Sao Paulo, except over the circuit. It was unbelievable. We had a wet Friday, we had a wet Saturday qualifying, and I think rain would have maybe even just spruced things up just a little bit more, but still a brilliant race. And if you're watching on the TV last night, I said there's one common denominator when it comes to circuits that provide great racing. Yes.
Not
Having
Herman
Tilke.
Tilke, yes.
Spot on, Daisy. Give me 5. There we go.
I must just say congrats. You guys had to start the commentary. Yeah, you're very
we did
good.
Okay, eh? We did okay.
Very, very good.
I had some guy sat there and said, why do I have to listen to this oak? So anyway, but thank you.
No, you guys are very good.
No, we did okay. So the Brazilian circuit, Interlagos, now I've been lucky, I've been there twice, is magnificent. It's just a brilliant, brilliant circuit, the way it's designed, the elevation changes of the track. It really provides for great, great racing. And we saw great racing yesterday. We called it, we've been saying it for quite a few months on TV. And the fact is that Sebastian Vettel is decisive about what he has to do. And yesterday at the start, didn't have the best of starts. Nico Rosberg got ahead of him. Nico Rosberg got ahead of him at Abu Dhabi as well. Nico Rosberg didn't manage to make it stick. Sebastian Vettel just manages and knows that if he is stuck behind another car, he is going to struggle with tire wear. He blasted past Nico Rosberg towards the end of the first lap, and that was Vettel on his way. From there, we had a very interesting tussle. Mark Webber didn't have the best of starts, had to get past Hamilton, then eventually Rosberg, and eventually got past Fernando Alonso, and tried to chase his teammate as much as possible, but it wasn't to be enough. There were a couple of very peculiar things that happened in yesterday's Grand Prix. One was the Felipe Massa penalty for driving over the solid line with all 4 wheels at the entry to the pit lane. Now, before people sit there and say, oh yeah, but Vettel did it and so did it, etc., etc. Just to let you know, Felipe Massa had been warned 3 times. 3 times prior to the penalty being given out. Okay, so all of the drivers get told this in the briefing. You cannot cross over that line because you're basically making the corner much shorter, and they don't think that it's fair to racing. So everyone was warned about it. There were other drivers who did it as well, but they were given warnings. Felipe Massa was given 3 warnings. Unfortunately, penalty had to stick. Then there was the incident involving Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. Now, also controversial. Yes, Hamilton was in the wrong. And I fully understand that. Hamilton was racing his own race, had his line, moved a little bit to the right-hand side, saw Valtteri Bottas at the last minute, and unfortunately their rear wheels collided with each other. Bottas did have every right to attempt the pass on Lewis Hamilton. And maybe Lewis sat there and went, well, Bottas is not in my race, he won't go for it. And so maybe a little bit of negligence on Lewis Hamilton's part. But Bottas, who I rate and I like him very, very much, didn't really need to go and try and make that pass. Because by passing Hamilton, within the next 3 or 4 corners, he would have been shown blue flags because he was a lap down, and he would have had to let Hamilton through again. So it was just a bit of silly buggers. Really, really silly buggers. That happened yesterday. It was the final race for Mark Webber. Unfortunately, didn't get the victory, but a great second place for him. He looked pretty relieved, I'll be honest. Very relieved. It's the most I've seen him smile on the podium in a very, very long time. I think the gesture by Sebastian Vettel to ask the questions first to Mark Webber was also very gentlemanly. Of the German, and Webber, of course, will move on to World Endurance Car Racing next year with the Porsche manufacturers team together with Red Bull backing. Fernando Alonso returned to the podium, first time since Singapore this year. Much relieved result for him, of course a little bit too late, but he did secure second in the championship yet again. So in the last 4 years that Sebastian Vettel has won the championship, Fernando Alonso has finished second in 3 of them. Sad, scary. Yeah, anyway. Other things, of course, from yesterday. Sergio Perez, it looks as though he's going to force India together with Nico Hülkenberg. And the biggest talking points at the moment, and hopefully these things are going to be resolved in the next couple of days, all rely on, can you believe it, Pastor Maldonado, who had another very erratic race yesterday, turned in, took out Jean-Eric Vergne, shocking piece of driving. And he's the key because he's got 40 million euro in his pocket as to who goes where in the world of Formula One. It's sad to say, but that is the reality of where it is at the moment. It looks very, very likely that Paul di Resta is going to leave Formula One, more than likely make his way through to the Chip Ganassi team at IndyCar, where his cousin, Dario Franchitti, has just announced his retirement, unfortunately, due to injury. So at the moment, we've got Vettel and Danny Ricciardo at Red Bull, Mercedes, Hamilton and Rosberg, Ferrari, Alonso, Raikkonen, Lotus, Grosjean, McLaren, Button and Kevin Magnussen. Then you've got to go all the way down. Toro Rosso, Jean-Eric Vergne and Daniel Kvyat. Watch this kid. He was brilliant on Friday in free practice in the rain. Williams has got Felipe Massa and Valtteri Bottas. And Marussia Ferrari has got Jules Bianchi. And that's all. Caterham have not announced any drivers. Sauber haven't, and neither have Mercedes. Second drivers we're looking for at Marussia, and of course we're looking for a second driver at Lotus as well. The pieces to this puzzle will all come together sooner than later, but it all depends on what Pastor Maldonado does. The crazy thing is, if the Lotus deal with Quantum doesn't come off, we are going to see Pastor Maldonado in a Lotus. I find that a travesty when you could have had someone like Nico Hülkenberg. That's a look at the world of Formula One. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated right here on Gears. More news tomorrow. And as always, brought to us compliments of Pirelli and Tiger Wheel and Tire. You only have 5 days left to stand a chance to win a trip to any 2014 Formula One Grand Prix. All you have to do is go to twt.to.
Win a trip for two to any 2014 Formula One Grand Prix of your choice. Plus, you can double your chances when you buy any 2 or more Pirelli tyres. Get to your nearest Tiger Wheel and Tyre to enter. Only at
Gears. GearsOnBalls.co.za. Weekdays 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.